It's hard to just even use the English word warrior when you're talking about what it means to be a warrior. Because as Indigenous people, we were born into this life, and we believe that it's our duty and responsibility to defend our land, in which our language, our culture, our existence flows from. There's no separating us from our land. It's a spiritual connection that goes deep since the beginning of our people. So as a warrior, we are a defender, we are a protector. And as a warrior, we would do and by any means protect and defend our people and anything that comes in the way of that. And here we're talking about the contamination of water that so much people depend on. I've been down here since the middle of September, and here to be in solidarity with people that are fighting the Dakota Access Pipeline.
The city of Standing Rock faced off with oil infrastructure company Energy Transfer Partners against their attempt to build the Dakota Access Pipeline, or DAPL, through their territory and under the Missouri River. A pipeline, they say, if built, will most certainly rupture and contaminate the water of millions of people in the United States. The fight against DAPL became the stuff of legend. Thousands of Indigenous and settler allies converged in North Dakota to stop this project against incredible odds. They became known as water protectors, and in November of 2016, they had a temporary victory when outgoing President Barack Obama denied a permit for a key part of the construction.
Sacred Stone Camp is where it originally started. There was like a handful of people there for a long time. But once these guys actually came here and really started building and destroying the earth, so everyone just started coming here faster, and every day it was just growing and growing. Before you know it, that Sacred Stone Camp was just overflowing.
I came out here in response to a call for medical support.
We received an invite from some of the matriarchs and Indigenous leadership from this Lakota, Dakota, Nakota territory to come help fight the Black Snake, help fight the pipeline, and some matriarchs' opinions by any means necessary, and the spirit of collective resistance and use a diversity of tactics to do that.
There's hundreds of camps in this bigger Standing Rock encampment that's called the Ochetisikowin Camp. It got up to around 20,000 people, but a lot of the people that are here and have maintained camps here, there's High Star Camp, there's Wild Oglalas Camp. So this is a big, massive mobilization. There's a lot of people here, and they want to stop a pipeline.
Went from just a few of us in little small groups, going out and shutting down the pipeline wherever we could, like multiple sites a day, everything. We were just on it.
The very real fact that for every one person on the front line who's there, who can stand and catch rubber bullets, there are many folks behind them, be those folks medics, be those folks logistics personnel, be those the folks in the kitchen who fed them that day.
I believe that the only way that anyone could organize is the diversity of tactics, because we're all so diverse people. Like, where else could you get, thousands of people all to come together like that and form this community, and actually people are not, killing each other. Look at the rest of society.
We need all the things. We need people litigating in court, we need people doing quote-unquote petitions, we need people praying, and also people that are doing direct action.
A lot of people did a lot of different things, went to courthouse, went to the state capitol, blocking down on the machinery and actually physically stopping the construction and the machines for the day. Had massive caravans out to just make a presence and stop the construction.
Stopping it everywhere we could, any way we could, using our bodies, locking down, just showing up in force and scaring the workers off.
Just the pure presence of 400 water protectors and Native people would shut DAPL down for the day. And sometimes they would actually be running to their trucks because they know what they're doing is wrong. Like, I would be scared too.
At one point, lockdowns are really effective. They could stop construction, they could stop what was happening for the day on prospective work sites, but then I got to the point where it was so militarized and the resources that we were up against, it didn't matter that we had the intention to go and lock down to something. It just wasn't an option. So then people have to reevaluate the situation, ask themselves what it means to be effective, look at the violence that's being perpetrated on them, and then collectively come back together and decide what tactics they're going to use. And
the climax of everything that I witnessed when I was here was when the police took the frontline camp. People sacrificed vehicles that day to blockade.
What does that mean, sacrificed vehicles?
Lit up.
Were it not for people who had been training for these sorts of nonviolent civil disobedience, confrontational situations, that pipe would have been built by now.
On Thursday, February 22nd, an army of state and county police, flanked by members of the National Guard and Department of Homeland Security, cleared out the last remaining pockets of resistance at the Oceti-Sakowin camp, bringing a bitter end to the No Dapple camp. On the west coast of Turtle Island, in the unceded territories of the Wet'suwet'en Nation in so-called British Columbia, warriors and tribal elders from the Unistoten clan have been blocking the construction of multiple pipelines through their territories for 7 years now. This anchor of land defense has been the Unistoten camp, a resistance community constructed smack dab in the pipeline's proposed path. Here's camp spokesperson Frida Hewson kicking the cops out of her territory.
People don't just freely walk in
So
because we're blocking pipelines out. We're not blocking everybody out.
I'm not a pipeline.
And here she is again, kicking out pipeline workers who illegally choppered in to do survey work.
Is there a problem why you're not leaving?
And here she is denying access to Chevron executives who had the audacity to offer her corporate bottled water and industrial tobacco.
We're here today to talk to you about doing work on your land, and we're requesting access onto your territory.
We've already said no to these projects and that no pipelines will come on our territory.
Justin Trudeau signed an order killing the Northern Gateway pipeline, one of the pipelines that had been slated to cross paths with the Unistoten. But at the same news conference where he signed Northern Gateway's death certificate, Trudeau announced the approval of 2 other pipelines, including Enbridge's Line 3 and Kinder Morgan's Trans Mountain, which is expected to face serious resistance in the months and years to come.
But as Indigenous people, we have to understand that we come from respect. You know, that's who we are as Indigenous people, and respecting the way that people believe. What I learned from here is that going home and working with our community and nation, we really have to set out some type of template or way to organize that's going to respect the whole range of diversity of tactics. And I believe that it's going to take education, and you know, it's going to have to take leading by example, because we can't have history repeat itself.
In many of these coming fights, we're going to see communities who are standing up as they get fed up with how the oil companies and gas companies and mining companies treat them, but they don't have the skill sets with them to necessarily bring a solid resistance to those things. While these legal machinations are going on, while the public comments are going on, we can't continue to have faith that the process will work because the process is rigged. We must go in tandem, and we can hope and we can pray that the easier paper route will get a project stopped, but we also need to prepare ourselves and prepare our youth in the tactics that they'll need to successfully fight these pipelines, rather than when all the paper fight is done, all the public comments is done, and the thing gets approved. That's not the time to start bringing people in to get trained.
We have to completely look at ourselves as our whole life is dedicated to the movement, to spark this whole revolution so we can fight for our freedom, so we can fight and have what we're fighting for, our land, our water, our territory, so we could live where we want, hunt where we want, swim where we want, like our ancestors before white man came. That's why we're here.